How's your October going? Oh, that good, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
Oh.
I did all day today. Like, I have a townhouse that's in between all these other townhouses, but I have a little, like, front porch area, and I did decorate it.
Did you put the witch hat on Mr. Krusty?
I put the witch hat on my turtle.
God.
I added the skulls to my plants. I have to now go buy some pumpkins, and this year I might have little baby Kate paint them.
Oh, that'd be so fun. I love a painted
But I put out my Halloween pillows and my lanterns, and I was just like feeling the spirit. Because when you're in a townhouse, obviously you can tell when other people do it, and I'm setting the charge, Kate.
Woo!
I don't think that was a phrase, but you get it. You know,
I like
leading the pack on
Yes.
Halloweeny.
I like that. I picked up a hay bale, 2 mums, and I was supposed to get a corn stalk, but the corn stalk was bigger than my car
Whoa.
length. Like, it wouldn't fit any Django way I tried, so then I was like, never mind. I'll just not have a corn stalk. Or, I don't know.
I'm picturing, like, now a scarecrow, I don't know why, in your yard, and my brain went from, what if you made, like, a bear-looking, like, your dog, a scarecrow, and then I was like, wait, what if you put it in your backyard to scare Mom when she just comes over without asking?
I feel like that would just scare a bear, probably. I don't think Mom would notice these things, because she doesn't pay attention to those things.
But you have, it's not so much your love of horror movies, but I've learned that you just really get into spook season. And I bought Kate a shirt. I'm like really getting into the spirit because, I mean, why not? You know, what else is going on in the world besides lots of things? But why not Halloween?
Yeah. I should have worn I got over the summer, I got a shirt off Etsy that says Hex the Patriarchy. It's the best.
I love it. I love that, obviously.
It's so good.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello.
Hello there.
Welcome back, listeners.
Oh my goodness, how's it going? What's the 411?
Are you guys going okay, or are you gonna go back in time and be sad?
Donnie Darko, what the hell kind of name is that?
Sound like a superhero.
Sort of like a superhero or something.
Yeah, they never explain his name either. It's just made fun of, and we're all like, yeah, you gonna explain? No? Okay.
I gotta tell you, when I heard this name of the movie, I really never imagined it was what it is.
It was,
and we'll go into it, but I guess we should introduce us first.
Yeah, okay. Yes, listeners, let me introduce ourselves. So, we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where 2 sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
Oh my god, let me find... Here it is. Sometimes I doubt your commitment to sparkle motion.
She was a piece of work, that character.
That fucking lady. She's definitely got a Twitter account, I'll tell you what.
Kate, this was a listener pick from Stacy. The movie is...
Donnie Darko.
2001.
Yeah.
It was quite weird.
Feels it.
Do you like this movie?
I don't know if like is the word. I think I tolerate it. I've seen it before. I watched it for this. Will I ever watch it again on my own time? I don't think so.
I think this is I'll watch it if it comes on.
Mm-hmm.
And Stacey was like, it holds up. It's awesome. You should do this. But I think she's like you, where like all things are like horror and spooky. But when I think of horror, I think of like slasher, death, Michael Myers movies.
Yeah, no.
And so you had said to me, you're like, oh, there's some scary parts, but it wasn't scary at all.
I hate the part, I'll say it now, because I hate it so much, the part where, what's her name, gets run over. I hate it. It looks so real. I don't don't like it at all.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing I was referring to.
Yeah, that's like, that reminds me when we were younger in school and they would play the train track video where the kids would get their head cut off.
God!
Do you remember
that church one where it was like, will you save all these children? Oh.
No, I mean in literal life, in my elementary school.
What the fuck? No.
They would play this video to say, don't play on the train tracks. And they showed these two kids, one of them getting their head cut off.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I just remember being like, I will, and we had a train track in the back of our house growing up.
Yes.
And I remember being like, I will never, ever, 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 ever be near that train track ever again, because kids would put pennies. Do you remember this?
Where they would
pennies
like shake
and then watch the train go by and then see if it like smashed your penny, or you play chicken, which was like what it was really about.
Oh, reminds me of Degrassi.
Oh my God!
I can't. Hold on.
Is it your turn? Are you the synopsis?
No, I did the last one. Damn. Sorry.
How do I do this?
Also, just to reference, because I want to clear the air with anyone who's concerned about public school education, that video is no longer played, so support your public schools. Thank you.
Yeah. This was a long time ago.
That was in the 90s, right?
Well, Donnie is a troubled high school student in therapy, prone to sleepwalking, and in possession of an imaginary friend.
Possession, huh?
A seizure foot. It's definitely a 6-foot rabbit named Frank, who tells him the world is going to end in 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. Kate, do you know what that time is really about?
No.
It's the lunar cycle.
Oh,
28
that's on my
days,
wall.
6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. Wow, it's on your wall.
It's on my wall. I didn't know the time.
This movie feels more psychological, emo vibe than
very emo.
Horror, but there is some kind of horror to it. Okay, I'm going to try my best to give a synopsis. Because I think I've shared this a couple times with you, but I'm pretty sure I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
Like, I'm pretty sure. And this is a really hard movie to not...
Yeah, the order is
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
so I really need you to be patient with me as I do this. So, okay. We meet Donnie, who, like I just mentioned, is, in my mind, like, troubled. I think they diagnose him with bipolar. But it's just, he's had some, like, he tried to burn down he burnt down a house, and he's had this history of, like, just trouble. And you could tell. So here's what was ironic about this movie is he had fairly good parents. I mean,
oh my God, yeah. His parents were nice.
Yeah, the mom was nice. The dad was like pretty chill. Maggie Gyllenhaal plays his sister in real life and this movie, who
Talk
was
about
like getting into
method
Harvard
acting.
Right.
Oh my.
And then he has another younger sister, but you could just tell he sticks out. He's the black sheep. He's just, something's off. And they all talk about it. They're all like, are you on your meds? And blah. So right away, we see him kind of like sleepwalking. And in the midst of this like sleepwalking episode, a jet engine, which I think people don't realize how big this is, but this is like the size of an entire bedroom.
Yeah.
Falls onto their house. And when he comes back to the house after his like sleepwalking, he sees what has happened. They can't believe that he was sleepwalking because it was in his bedroom. And he would have just absolutely died.
Yeah.
And so, weird, crazy stuff. But once that moment happened, it's almost like there was a timeline split.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts seeing this person who's dressed like a weird, scary rabbit, which, by the way, this had to be a Halloween costume for so many people after this movie.
Yeah, all the emo boy.
Like, that scary rabbit mask. I'm like, okay.
Understands me. I'm going to be the rabbit from Donnie Darko.
Horrifying. So this rabbit is like, the world's gonna end in 28 days, 6 hours, whatever. And he sees him kind of over and over again, and he's really trying to figure out, like, why are you telling me this? Why are you here? And you see him figure that out also with his therapist. He's a therapist that does like hypnosis, and she's learning these things. And so it's kind of like, it feels linear, but he gets a girlfriend, Jena Malone. We'll talk about her, or Jena Malone. I always say Maloney, like baloney.
You know, I wasn't gonna correct it. I was just gonna, in my mind, giggle and let it go, not fix it in editing.
I'll edit out Bridget's learning disabilities. So,
Stop. God.
Then he finds her, and they kind of have this kind of like, yeah, forget high school and blah, blah, blah. But he has the same effect that reminds me of The Faculty with Josh Hartnett, that his test scores are, quote, intimidating.
Oh, yeah. All these
so he's
emo
so
geniuses.
brilliant. Yeah, all these emo geniuses. He's so brilliant, but yet he's like having all these kind of mental health issues, and he's really just trying to figure out, like, why is the world ending? So I think going into details is going to ruin this synopsis, but the gist of it is he figures out there's another piece of this with like time warps and jumping time, and there's a woman who wrote a book, and he's chasing after the woman, and his friends are trying to get involved and help him, all while he's being a teenager and dating this girl, and worlds collide, lots of crazy things are happening, and then you kind of learn in the end that it was less of this linear existence, and it was more that he should have died at that point. So like time was essentially going backwards, or it split, and this is what hurts my head. And so we'll get you'll be much better at describing this than me.
Oh, but I don't know about that.
It's a really great trippy ending, because you start to see that it's not about the world ending. It's about him feeling like the hero to go back to what was supposed to happen, like fate. He was supposed to be dead in this fictitious world. And then once he does that, like everything kind of falls back into place how it should be, because all this bad stuff was happening.
Yeah.
That's the best I can do.
That was good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I watched so many videos, and I read so many movie synopses, and I read so many people giving critiques, and I was like
the research. I'm impressed.
It's Always Sunny in Philly, the picture where he has the whiteboard and he's
you
on
have
his
your
red
own
lines.
bulletin board.
I'm like, wait,
with Jake
so
Gyllenhaal. Oh God.
I'm like, wait, Jenna's dead, but then she wakes up and she's alive, but then there's where's the engine from? Nobody knows where the engine from. Why is Patrick Swayze a pedophile? I mean, so many things are nuts, Kate.
There's a lot happening. Drew Barrymore's there too. Don't worry.
Oh, by the way, this was Flower Films, her production company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it would have never happened without Drew Barrymore.
Wow, Drew.
Please help me kick this sucker off, Kate. I am tired of taking a drink.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I do acknowledge right away that Donnie is a very big emo kid. Super big, not with music, but with outlook on life. And he is played by Jake Gyllenhaal, which I'm sure you said. So at points in the movie, I kept thinking, I was like, Jake, I want to like you. I want to support you. But I won't ever forget that you got Taylor Swift's scarf in your drawer. And
the marketing pull of that, I thought about that the entire movie. I thought, Taylor Swift's marketing engine.
Oh my God.
I maybe listen to her music here and there. I don't hate her. I don't love her. I just think she's good at what she does. But I only thought about the red scarf.
And people don't forget,
insane.
On Twitter, when Twitter used to be normal, Dionne Warwick made a tweet that said, just give her back the scarf, Jake, please. And literally tagged him in it. Dionne.
Oh my God. Although people give him credit that he's never fought back to Taylor. He knows she's like the Illuminati. He's like, I'm not fucking with Taylor Swift. I will not pretend I know where the red scarf is. I won't come back and say that's not true. He just keeps quiet, and honestly, I think it's his best move. It's a good Donnie Darko move.
He really can't redeem himself. He can't go back through a wormhole and fix that one. I'll tell you that right now.
I bet he wishes.
I bet he does, but he can't.
Wow,
so
that's a Reddit theory.
It's with him forever. Ooh, let's start that later.
Wait, what if he goes back and then he gets all these different movies because he should have had a different career? Brokeback Mountain. Anyway. All right.
Okay.
Kate, back to focus.
It starts off with Donnie is on a random road, and this is his introduction where we're like, oh, he sleepwalks, and he goes back to the house, which is now it's morning, and nobody was worried or has a reaction. They're all like, morning, coming from, shoeless from the road. How's it going? What?
I thought the same thing, and this is when I thought, oh, is this a typical movie where the parents don't care, the parents are stupid? Do they not love him? What's the deal? But then they seemed normal as the film went on.
I know they do love him. That's why I'm like,
feels out of place.
Wait, I feel like
also, I got big Twilight vibes.
When
he from the road, it was that kind of blue, that kind of sepia lighting vibe, Yeah.
I wish there was a werewolf in this movie.
Can you imagine him in Twilight, Jake Gyllenhaal?
He could have been a werewolf. I'm calling it now.
timeline. Anyways.
Okay. So yeah, we see more of his family, and so it's the two parents, older sister, which she can't be that much older because later in the movie she's like, I got accepted to Harvard. And I was like, what school do you go to? What's your age? Do you have a job? Are you dating anyone? I don't know anything about you, but anyway. And then they have what we have in our family, which is a little surprise sibling, as it seems, who definitely is at least like 10 years younger than them.
Yeah, yes.
And I don't know her name.
It's just so funny you say this because they have that like dinner scene where they're fighting politically over something.
Oy.
And then somebody calls somebody a fuck ass. And then
suck a fuck.
Yes, and then the little sister goes, what is a fuck ass?
Ugh.
And I wrote, poor little Mary.
Yep.
Because anyone that plays any role like that, I think of our sister Mary. Mary, you're listening?
Mary.
I always think of you. We love you, Mary.
Mary, are you in Sparkle Motion Dance Team?
Mary, you'd be excellent at that.
Yes, you would. So I don't know. That's that. And then the mom she waits till nighttime to then be like, hey, bro, where'd you go last night? And he just gets mad at her and calls her a bitch. And it's terrible. And you're like, wow.
This is why I thought, uh-oh, stuff's not good in this house.
Yeah.
But he does have remorse. And then she's upset about it. So it's like, they haven't given up on each other. They're just not in a good state.
Well, and then literally that same night, this is when he sleepwalks again and he meets Frank. Now, is he known as Frank the Bunny or Frank the Rabbit? It matters to me. Do we know offhand what his name is?
I'm personally looking up the cast.
Or is it just Frank?
Now.
Maybe it's just Frank.
I feel like it was just Frank.
I just want
as Frank Anderson.
All right, I'm gonna bring up an obscure reference. Did you ever watch? I think it was a show called Greg the Bunny, and it was a puppet.
No,
it was like a little looked like a stuffed animal rabbit, but it was a puppet, and Seth Green was himself as a human. And the whole premise of the show was the puppets would reenact like famous movies, but like spoof them, and it was like really amazing. I don't know why Seth Green was there, but he was there. And
tag us when we post this on one of our socials. Someone find that and tag us. Thank you so much.
Definitely like 2000s was a thing, but I just kept in my brain being like, remember Greg the Bunny? Like every time Frank came on, it's like, Kitty, do you remember Greg the Bunny? And I was like, I do, brain. Let me focus on the emo. Come on.
Wow. Never in my life. I just thought of Frank from Shameless, and I thought this could be
watched that. Yeah,
William H. Macy.
Well,
like nobody would know.
Probably, yeah. So anyway, he meets Frank, and Frank's like, yo, I'm gonna be really dramatic because that's the tone for this movie.
Definitely.
Okay, and everything's gonna explode, and the world's gonna end. And then Donnie's like, what? I don't get it. And then he wakes up on a golf course again. No one's worried. Like people find him, and they're like, oh, Donnie, you're so silly. I was like, guys.
Literally, they're like, that's Johnny, kid. He's just really got to get his act together.
Sleeping on golf courses. I was like, what if he was in Space Jam, guys? You wouldn't want to help him? You're just going to leave him
He could have been following Michael Jordan down the hole to fight the aliens.
Bunch of bullshit over here. Yeah, and then this is where the airplane engine falls in his room. Now, Bridge, did you watch this with your husband, James?
Okay, I did tell him. I go, honey, there's an airplane.
Hurry, get in here. There's an airplane reference.
And he then looked at it and was like, yes, it is, and left the room. I was like, oh okay.
There wasn't more.
But it's not a lot. I believe it's like, a 737, something like that. And they take it away in a big giant trailer. And I don't know if that's actually the right size, but it seems really big.
But is that something that could really happen? That could come off?
Hold on real quick. We have a guest right here. James, we're going to ask you this question on the spot. Oops, I guess edit his last name out.
The name out, even though you say it a lot.
Real quick. Katie, please interview our airline expert here.
Okay, my question for you as the expert is, in the movie, one of the engines falls off. Can that happen?
Yes, can and has.
Was Donnie Darko inspired by a true story?
Wait, when has it?
Yeah, when?
Where?
Who died?
There's kind of a very famous accident. I think it was 1979 here in Chicago. And they...
How do you know that?
It's very...
Oh my God. good. Educate us.
And I'm dating myself here a little bit because my dad worked in towards the city and we lived out in the country, and he came home one day and all me and my sister were just toddling around and everything. We're real little children. He's like, oh gosh, he told my mom there's a bad accident out there at O'Hare, and they had installed the engine wrong and they took off and the engine fell off, and the pilots, they didn't know what had happened. And then there's this very famous photo of the plane banked almost 90 degrees over and it crashed. And it crashed right outside the airport.
Oh my God.
Wait, on 90?
Right off of 90.
Okay, that's like a crash on Garden State Parkway.
That's insane.
Like, can you imagine a plane across the Garden State Parkway
Holy
crash?
Shit. Oh my
God.
God.
Thank you very much, our airline expert.
Okay, that's a new fear I have now. Excellent.
I swear his brain takes these things. He's just like, it's like a Ghostbusters catalog. You know, he just pulls it out.
It's in there.
Thank you very much.
Don't cross those streams. Bye. Wow. Well, that's so scary. Yeah, and it is funny in the movie, too, because right away, this is some X-Files shit. Random unknown government officials show up and are like, hey, sign this NDA and don't ask questions. And they just do, and nobody knows where the plane was.
Kate, I gotta tell you a story. This is a mom story.
I hope it's about X-Files. Okay.
It's not about X-Files.
Damn it.
So first of all, just from the movie, I felt like an airplane engine was random in this movie. I thought like earthquake. I just felt like it was really out of place, and they had to figure out to make this secretive and like move on with the plot because it was so random. But when they signed the forms, everything in my brain was like, don't sign the forms. You never sign the forms.
You gotta read the forms.
I was like, where? I know this because I'm an adult, but also where is this like really visceral reaction coming from? Mom tells a story that, do you remember when our Nana and Pop-Up, the Amtrak train derailed, major Amtrak accident. Mom literally saw it on TV and was like, holy cow, my mom and dad might be dead. Mm-hmm. And when she went to the hospital, they were not dead, but very, very, very severely injured.
Yes.
All of the Amtrak people were like talking to them and trying to get them to sign things. And then also I think they tried to get Mom to sign something. And you know, Mom, she was like, absolutely nuts. And then they later went and like sued them, but pretty freaking nuts that like shit like this happens. And I thought it was so cavalier that they just signed
they
it.
They didn't even read it. The mom was like, cool, here's my signature. I was like, bitch, you just lost so much money.
So much money.
So much.
I cannot. Can you imagine?
Yeah, so everything's normal and life goes on, and now we go to school. I guess they take a bus. So only Donnie and his younger sister go to this school. Again, I don't know where Maggie Gyllenhaal goes during the day. Where does she go?
I think she goes to this school, but we hide her.
Okay.
And I need to bring up the thing I learned about this movie, Kate, because it happens. I don't know if it was exactly. I don't think it's exactly this moment, but I'm going to bring it up before. Was it
the racism at 7 a.m. at the bus stop?
Oh,
because I'm tired.
The aggressive racism is out of control. I literally wrote, "This is so America already." So Seth Rogen.
Oh my God!
First role ever.
This
is his first role ever, and do you know what his first line is that he's ever said on any major motion picture?
Is it something about boobs, where he's like, "I like your boobs"?
Yes!
It's so horrible.
What?
Oh
like,
no!
Does that not equate his career for life? Oh my God!
Except he says it in like a sexual harassment, rapey way, and I hated it. So scary.
I hated it so much, but yeah, it feels okay, Kate. I know we're gonna get there, but I felt the vibe of this school was like, there's popular kids. It's not as cheesy as like The Faculty, so we got better in 2000.
No Delilah's here, thank God.
But it still is like people are bullies and mean to certain people.
Yeah,
and you're afraid of certain people, and then like Donnie's like, I hate all of you. Like that's his vibe. He's like angsty, everyone's the worst. And he has like two friends.
Except I was gonna say somehow he has two friends and they're not like that, and I'm like, I'm lost. Like how did we get here? But that's where we are. I also got a lot of Saved vibes, I think, just because it was a Catholic or like religious school or whatever.
They were snorting coke in the hallway.
Well, maybe that's not safe. That's more like Karate Kid with the bullies, maybe. But
I was like, where where's this movie going? And then Drew Barrymore pops up with the whitest face I've ever seen. I almost fell off the couch.
The dark hair that hair color was not suiting her complexion, I gotta say.
Kate, what do we think of this teaching?
Bridge, well... I'm never a fan of public humiliation, and Drew Barrymore in this movie is a big fan of it, because literally Jena Malone is like, hey, I'm in the wrong class. And she's like, you look like you're in the right place, right, everyone? Anyway, sit next to the cutest boy in here. Better fucking pick. And I was like, what if... okay, there's so many problems with that.
So many problems
Jesus
with that.
Christ. And she
was
Donnie. I guess he's the cutest.
It was bizarre. And it was bizarre. I didn't know the one character, so when they are racist to her, and she's at the bus stop.
Oh, what is... I don't know her name, but she, like, appears a lot. Let's find her name. She's the one who did...
It's Sharita?
Sharita! It's Sharita!
Sharita.
Chen.
And I'm like, why is her sole purpose just to be, like, made fun of? Like,
yes.
Because at one point, Donnie's like, I promise you life will get better.
And then she's like, get the fuck away from me! And I was like, that's right, Sharita. That's called self-advocacy. Stick up for your rights.
But I don't know if her life got better, Kate.
I don't think... Bridge, we're gonna get there, because in my opinion, everybody's lives are worse at the end. But that might just be me. So
as Drew Barrymore takes off her necklace glasses, because she's trying to be Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds, but for white kids.
Oh, God.
We meet Jena Malone. She's cool. Like, you're like, all right, we know this plot line. We're good. But I feel like we get close to the therapist. And, like, right, we're, like, cutting scenes. We see Donnie's little sister dancing. And I'm like, whoa, TikTok's already begun in 2001.
It's giving TikTok. It's giving Dance Moms. It's giving a lot that I didn't ask for, I gotta say.
But we get to this therapy session, Kate. Now, I understand you work with children, and you're not working with high schoolers.
Okay.
And I myself have gone to so many therapists. I don't know if I've ever been this direct and honest, especially at this age ever in my life. And he was just letting it fly with her.
He literally starts off by being like, I made a new friend. And her first response in like half a second was to go, is it real or imaginary? Ouchie. Damn, bedside manner.
Dr. Thurman.
I mean, ouch. Shit. That's fucking rude, I think. I was like, you didn't even ease into that, lady. My God.
That's a great comeback. And then you'd be like, have you seen Donnie Darko?
Yeah, sure.
It was a lot, but it was like the movie started to pick up action, right? And then Patrick frickin' Swayze.
Okay.
What's happening?
I have questions. Questions. Again, I was getting Saved vibes. I was like, he's giving me Pastor Skip, but Pastor Skip is not like an aggressive pedophile / cult leader. Yeah. And Patrick Swayze is. And
here.
What?
I feel like they took Tony Robbins meets like
Jim Jones.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And then in 2001, because like no one ever acknowledged emotions, he was like, "There's two things in life.
Oh my God.
Fear and love.
Yep, that's all you need.
That's all you have. And
fuck?
So you're just struggling in life because you're not embracing the fear. Oh, you're not embracing the love." And it was weird because throughout the movie, everyone's like, you gotta meet this guy. He's amazing. He's great. Now, we know Patrick Swayze as the amazing, magical, lifetime of great movies, good guy. Yeah. I had absolutely no idea he was this horrific pedophile later in the movie. Threw me off. Couldn't see it. I just thought he was kind of like a weird...
Well, apparently no one saw that coming either. Oof, and that's the worst.
That was awkward.
I just didn't understand if he was like a religious dude because he was like partnered up with this church. And then I was like, is he just a shitty motivational speaker?
I thought that was the vibe.
Okay. And then,
You know, it is giving me Little Miss Sunshine's dad.
Well,
10 ways to be successful.
And love and fear. I laughed really hard. There's a part in his terrible, terrible video, which it's like, this is video 1 of 20. And you're like, oh God, that's the worst. Jesus.
This is VHS world. Remember those
so
days?
Bad. They get to a little kid. I don't even know why the fuck this little kid's in this movie. He's sitting with his mom, and the kid just out of nowhere screams, "I'm not afraid anymore."
mean, it was weird, but we cut to Jena Malone leaving school. Okay, so her name is Gretchen. We'll call her Gretchen from now on.
Sure.
Gretchen leaves school, and then Seth Rogen sexually harasses her.
Hate
and it gets weird.
it.
And then she goes, hey, Donnie, can you walk me home? I'm afraid I'm about to be sexually harassed, raped by these people.
In daylight, in the suburban neighborhood, by the way.
I'm a new student. And he was like, yeah, sure. And then her backstory.
Oh God.
So her parents got a divorce. And he's like, yeah, that sucks. Divorces happen. And she's like, well, we're kind of like fleeing on the run. And he's like, oh, yeah. So my stepdad stabbed my mom a bunch of times and she almost died. And so we're just trying to hide from him because he might come back and kill us.
I thought it was the real dad did that. Was it the stepdad or which dad?
Maybe it's the real dad.
I
don't know.
Maybe both dad. I don't know. Yeah, her mom got stabbed. That's the fucking worst. Were you ready for the domestic violence? Because everything wrong will happen here at some point.
We are at maybe 18 minutes of the movie. We have had a potential rape. We've had stabbing. We've had a teacher being inappropriate.
Racism.
We've had a pedophile. We've had an engine flew the building. We've had therapy. We've had racism. I was tired. I mean, I'm into it, but I was tired, It's very drama.
There's so much, because it's emo. Whoa.
And she's like, so what about you? I got a cool ass story. And he's like, yeah, well, I burned down an abandoned house and went to jail.
Yeah, I was like, Donnie, lame follow-up, first of all, and second of all, like, get the fuck out of here. I think this is when he's like, hey, should we date? And I was like, bitch, you just met. Like, what? And then she's like, maybe, and then like skips away. And I was like, okay, here we are.
It was definitely Love Actually vibes of like
very cardboard cutout.
We've met very quickly. We don't have a conversation. Let's date. We have pretty much trauma. Let's bond.
Let's trauma bond. Yeah. But this is where at night Donnie has another sleepwalking episode where he vandalizes the school. I did again think of Saved with all the graffiti and stuff, and he writes. What the fuck did he write? He wrote some weird phrase it was like, they made me do it. I don't know who they are. I thought it was one. I thought it was Frank.
Well,
what's Frank's pronouns? I don't know. Is it they? Maybe.
What are Rabbit's pronouns? I don't know.
No.
Here's the thing with that. You didn't actually know it was him. You kind of knew it was him.
Okay, yeah.
But you didn't like really see him. So I thought, is this like trippy timeline world? Or is this like hallucination world? Or is this he really did it when he was sleepwalking world? Or was it the rabbit? Like, I was really freaking confused.
Yes.
And it was they made me do it. And so they flooded the school so no one had to go. And and then the scary guys had a knife and I don't know what was happening. And then they started talking about like Smurfettes and Donnie's sticking up for Smurfs.
Didn't like it. I didn't fucking like it. I actually think that was later because I remember ranting and raving about the fucking Smurfs.
My line is, Donnie Darko is so super smart, and we learned that with his Smurf knowledge.
Okay. Wait, there is a scene where he goes back to the therapist, and again, she's like, I'm a great therapist. Anyway, let's do hypnosis. That's totally normal and scientifically sound. And he's like, totally. And then literally the whole session, she's like, anyway, so like, tell me about this. And he's like, yeah, I want a bone. Yeah. And I was like, this is
Christina Applegate.
I literally was like, this is the most realistic part of the movie. A teenage boy, that is what their brain is thinking. They're just thinking about who and where and how are we gonna bone and what was this person expecting. Come on,
I'm gonna tell you, if you're gonna describe Donnie Darko as anything, it's gonna be honest.
Yeah.
All right.
He is. Yeah.
Well,
but you're right, there is a conversation about Smurfs. I thought I wrote more about that and I fucking didn't, and that just tells you all you need to know about it.
It was his two idiot friends that were like, doesn't Smurfette just like have sex with all the other Smurfs and blah blah blah, and then Donnie's like, actually Smurfette came in as a secret agent and has nothing to do with anything sexual, and just went on this whole storyline, and I was like, this is the most I've ever known about Smurfs right now.
And I didn't ask also.
Right now.
Didn't ask, didn't want to know, and now it's too late.
But with the vandalizing of the school, Kate, we have a emergency PTA meeting.
Bridget, this gave me I had some trauma responses to this because this
are you okay? Is this how it works?
So fucking real life. This is how it works. Except the crazy movie lady who was like, let's ban books, are usually the people who are on the PTA board. And that's even worse. And fund public schools and research candidates, everyone!
Katie, have you seen that video where it's of AOC and it's a like kind of, it feels like PTA meeting vibe, and they're all shouting like, AOC has got to go, and they're like yelling at her like this big chant, and she's dancing like in the front. Have you seen this video?
No,
it's
but
so
I love
Parks
that.
and Rec, but this is
That's
how
so
I imagine
funny.
you. I imagine like people yelling at you, and you're just like giggly dancing in the front to them like Napoleon Dynamite.
Your tears fuel me. Yes.
And you guys like, have you seen Donnie Darko? Sparkle motion.
Sparkle motion.
Yeah, this lady's intense. Who is she? Let's name her.
I don't
she
know.
is she's
Sparkle
Kitty. Her name is Kitty. Her name is Kitty Farmer. She was excellent at her acting.
Kitty is a Karen. Wow. Karen equals Kitty. Kitty equals Karen. Kitty wants to ban a book that was read in one of the... Kitty, okay, so she also works at the school.
She's the phys ed teacher, which is why she showed Patrick Swayze's video.
I don't know if that was board
love.
approved. I don't know about it. I don't know the rules and regulations of this school. But she basically is like, guys, I'm a teacher and a parent, so I'm the most knowledgeable. And I was like, ew, I've heard those comments too, and they're so flawed, and I hate everyone. But she is like, we gotta get rid of this book, so we're talking book bannings, which is also a conversation that's still happening, and it's dumb. And she's like, in this book, children, vandalize things, and we got vandalized, ergo, books are bad for me. And you're like, what the fuck? And then I don't even know what happens with the book. Does it get banned? We don't fucking know.
But when she jumps up, she's like, not only am I an employee at this school, I am also a parent of one of my child. So I am the most qualified in this PTA meeting. And I thought, I think that's exactly why you can't talk.
That's a conflict of interest if I ever saw one. Damn.
I think that's not how it works, Kitty, but she added a lot of necessary comic relief to this film.
Thank God.
Because it was so heavy. I didn't know what was happening, and I was like, thank God I have someone to universally laugh at.
Well, and she's the one that in, I'm assuming this was like health, like more health class maybe, where she's showing the videos again, and this is where it introduces the fear and love spectrum, which if it's a spectrum, that means there's like things in the middle, you guys. But like to her, she's like, there's only two sides, one or the other. And I was like, that's not a spectrum, but okay. And then Donnie goes on a monologue that I did approve of, because he was like, that's not how the world works, and there's more emotions. And
he would have gone viral today. Somebody would have recorded that. And he would have gone viral. And his parents were cool.
Yeah.
When they went to school and they were like, Donnie did this and that, and they were laughing. And I thought, I hope James and I are like this one day if Kate like tells some Karen to shove it up their ass at school.
If Kate does that, I'm gonna buy her a trophy and ice cream and a little plaque that says good job. Because what we need. We need our children to do that.
And that's how you know they're cool. And Kitty then tells them that the righteousness, you need to go to church. I'm very afraid for Donnie. It was crazy.
She goes, you should go home and pray and then look in a mirror. That's the worst. That's my nightmare. Why would I do that to myself? I hate all of those suggestions, and I won't. Okay, but in this, which we didn't reference this character, this is a character, there's an old lady, Bridge, who kind of looked like Doc Brown.
Grandma Death.
With the hair. It looks like a wig like that you would buy to be like a crazy scientist at Halloween. That's her hair. And they call her Grandma Death.
Ouch.
And then Donnie, through some weird turn of events, starts talking about time travel. And then he talks with some science teacher. And then the science teacher gives him a book that was written by Grandma Death.
Yes. Who is Roberta Sparrow.
I mean, like, should we check on Grandma Death? Because, like, she does stand in the road and nobody seems to, like, help her. And is she eating? I don't know.
So every day she goes to the mailbox and looks for a letter, but then stands in the road, and then people almost hit her. And this is like the shtick with Roberta Sparrow, aka Grandma Death.
Yeah.
And once I learned that she wrote this book on time travel, I thought, this is so cool. The mailbox is the portal to time travel. And it's not about her finding a letter. Maybe she, like, you know, that, like, Sandra Bullock movie where, like, the letters make you travel back in time. You know, the mail thing.
Oh, what the fuck was that called? It was something about a lake, wasn't it?
Lake something.
It was, like, some rom-com.
Yeah, and it gave me those vibes. So I thought, oh, she just, like, looks old in this universe. But, like, she's always coming out of the mailbox from another universe. This is where my brain
coming out of the mailbox. I fucking wish she climbed out of that mailbox.
That was like the time travel.
Oh my god.
I quickly learned that was wrong. Yes.
Well, at one point she just kind of disappears from the movie, and I was like, I don't think you should have disappeared from the movie, but it's fine.
And it starts the momentum of his kind of like descent into really like embracing Frank the Rabbit and destructing things is he starts to see what I would argue is Casper-like effects. Of like this like shooting life force out of people's bodies, and it shows where people are gonna move, and he's like seeing something deeper than anyone else can see. And you think you start to think like, oh, maybe he is really that smart. Maybe he's like is a superhero. You know, maybe there's like special powers happening, or maybe it's just mental illness,
or maybe
I was not sure.
Yeah.
It was cool though. Cool effects, right?
Yeah, he was seeing wormholes coming out of people. And then he still is doing a lot of sleepwalking too. He goes and gets a gun from a shoebox. Not the shoebox gun. Hate that. That's not locked up. Yeah, but then he's still kind of on the side. He's hanging out with Gretchen. Gone to a therapist. I still stand by. She kind of sucks, but it's cool. And she then is like, I think Donnie's a schizophrenic. Let's bumpity bump up the meds. And the parents are like, totes. But I don't know. That doesn't really change anything. Or he doesn't even take the meds, I don't think. At one point, I think he, like, pretends to and doesn't. I don't know.
He's not taking the meds.
Okay.
But in the beginning of the movie, he was. We didn't really, I don't know, they didn't address that much, but we get to a school assembly with Patrick Swayze.
Wait, Bridge, did you see who one of the kids was that volunteered to ask a question? The girl? Do you know who that was?
Who? No.
Ashley Tisdale. That was Ashley Tisdale, the girl with, like, the frizzy hair. I know! She was not blonde like Sharpay in High School Musical.
My God. It was so bizarre. There is, I don't even know her name, but I watched this whole documentary about her. There's a woman on social media that has, like, dark brown hair, and she, like, does this. She, like, has these giant assemblies, and then she, like, gets on stage, and she's like, it's about fear. You're all afraid about fear. And, you know, and there was this whole documentary, and it was so nuts. What is her name? Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
And then, like, people called her, like, a cult leader, but she's like, I'm not a cult leader. Like, they just don't get it.
Is it Patrick Swayze in a wig? What's happening?
Oh my God. Keep going. You tell the story while I look
All right,
this up.
So, again, if anyone is a former watcher of Nickelodeon in the 90s and 2000s, we also have Spencer from iCarly is another guy that talks. Then there's, like, a little random kid, I don't know. And they're basically asking weird questions, and then Patrick Swayze is like, get on up on the stage here, kids. And I was like, keep a distance. Don't look him in the eye. And then Donnie gets up and he's like, this is a bunch of bullshit. You didn't answer any questions, which I was like, that is fair. Those are fair things. And then he calls Patrick Swayze the fucking Antichrist.
Wow.
Again, I thought of Saved. And I was like, if only Cassandra was here to, like, rip her shirt open and pretend she was possessed. Oh, God, what a day. That would have been great. They would have got along real well, those two.
Everything he said, though, we've all had this kid in high school.
Yeah.
That truly fights any type of thing like this, like to their core.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw people I knew in him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it's Patrick Swayze. A part of me thinks they didn't do this acting. Like, I think it should have been a different actor. Like, if it was Kevin Spacey, I'd be like,
oh, yeah, he's real great.
But it's Patrick Swayze, and I just kind of was like, but maybe he does know stuff. Like, maybe he's trying, but he's stupid, you know?
Yeah. Well, then Donnie gets in trouble, blah, blah, blah. But then then he kind of goes back to the science teacher, and he's talking with the science teacher about this time travel, and he's kind of coming up with this theory where he's like, what if God's plan, can change? And the science teacher's like, no, it can't. Like they're disagreeing, basically. And Donnie says something along the lines of like, well, if I go back in time, I can change. And what if that's what God wanted? And then the guy's like, no. And then the guy eventually is just like, all right, I'm tired. Like, I'm done with this.
But he plays the card like, I can't talk about this, Donnie. I'll lose my job. I was like, are you an FBI agent? What do you know that we don't know?
It's just the Lord, Bridge. Okay. And then what do I have here? He
finds the wallet. He finds Patrick Swayze's wallet. And he's like, well, I know your address. And that is not good for Patrick Swayze.
Wow.
Because So Patrick Swayze doesn't die, but he sets fire to his entire house during one of his sleepwalking moments. Not sleepwalking.
So Donnie and Gretchen go on a date to a movie theater and they watch Evil Dead. And then Donnie leaves because Gretchen is asleep and Frank was like, get the fuck out and go find some shit. Meanwhile, Patrick Swayze is like the announcer at a dance competition. So like Patrick Swayze wasn't home because he was at that. Donnie was burning shit and Gretchen was asleep the whole time. And I was like, is that me sometimes?
I
Maybe.
mean, if the movie's long, I do fall asleep as well.
There is a really pretentious line that happens within here that, like, I just feel like I've heard so many apathetic emo boys reference. Emo boys. Where Donnie's like, why are you always wearing that bunny suit? Like, that stupid bunny suit. And then Frank goes, why are you always wearing that stupid man suit? And I was like, because he's a man.
You're like, that's not a comeback.
It's not a comeback, Frank.
Try
and
harder.
It's not unique, and you're not cool for singing.
But just when you didn't think it could get any weirder. And we do find out he's a pedophile and all that, but I'm going to talk about something that I think is the most necessary part of this
We're going to talk about Sparkle Motion? Because I'm ready.
Nope. When him and Gretchen go to the front of the class and they pitch Shark Tank on infant virtual reality goggles.
Bridge, did you have flashbacks to your class that you teach? Because isn't that what your kids have to do as their final project? Is like they have to make a product?
Yes. I mean, sometimes it's digital, but like I literally was dying.
Wait, what grade would you give them?
Hard.
What grade would you give them for that project and presentation?
Honestly, if we're talking corporate, that would have been funded with $3 million, and I would have had to like backtrack CEOs to not do that. I loved it so hard because she came at it from kids need to see happy things, and since my dad stabbed my mom a lot and Donnie burns things down, maybe if we were infants and we saw nice things, our lives would be better. And I thought, that's so pure and amazing. And then someone goes, doesn't infants need the dark?
Honestly, though, I was kind of like, I think that is like a valid thing to recognize, right? Like, there is a reason we go to sleep.
Okay, your original question on what would I give them, for that reason, I'm out.
You're out.
I'm out. I'm tapping
no investment
out because
for you.
With putting VR goggles on an infant, I'm out. I'm out. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that part was so fucking random.
I'm
like, now we're just stretching the movie at this point. Like, we gotta focus. Sparkle Motion is going to their dance competition, and then Kitty goes to Donnie's mom, and it's like, oh my god, because of the horrible accusations against Patrick Swayze, I have to help him. I don't know why I have to, but I do, and therefore I can't take the children to California or wherever we're going, and you have to. And the mom's like, fucking fine. And you're like, there's no other mom? Okay.
I hate it.
Fucking fine. But it's for plot. And let's see. I have more therapy sessions. Bloop, 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 bleep. I don't fucking know. Somewhere in here, Jena Malone and Donnie make out, and then Drew Barrymore gets fired somewhere. And again, I don't know. Were those things
It's like
plot?
Everything shitty is happening to everyone.
Yeah, I guess.
Donnie is very focused on, I think this time machine. He's really like getting his story together of like, I think I know what I'm going to do. And I think I need to go to Roberta Sparrow because I think this woman has the answers I need since this teacher won't talk to me anymore. So it all kind of culminates into this like final night.
Well, it's the Halloween party.
Halloween party. Maggie Gyllenhaal's like, having a party.
Parents are gone. I don't know where
Parents
Dad is.
Gone. I got into Harvard.
Too. Deuces.
Yippee-ki-yay. Yeah, where the frick was Dad?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Right.
Where's the little sister? Oh, that's right. She was at the dance.
She's at the dance.
But
Sparkle Motion.
Him and Jenna or Gretchen have their,
Do they bone?
Teenage moment. I think they boned.
All right.
And then it just gets real dark. This part of the movie gave me scaredy cat vibes. I was scared.
Okay, now I just want to set the scene because
I was scared.
His whole thing is like, gotta go to Grandma Death, gotta get Roberta, shit's going down, it's going down tonight. So you're like, I can't wait to see Roberta again. Maybe she found a hairbrush in that time. We never see her again. She is never in the movie again.
They just break into her house.
Am I wrong? Like, she's not there. And I was like,
she's never.
What the fuck?
Well, no. She comes out because they almost hit the lady, and that's what makes them run over Gretchen.
She's in the woods somewhere playing Blair Witch. Okay, fine. Movie. Fucking fine. But yes, they do break in, and then for literally no reason at all, how did they plan it? Someone tell me. The bullies are also broken in, ready to attack with weapons.
Seth Rogen.
What?
Horrible.
Hate
horrible.
that so
They have a
much.
serious knife and they are choking Donnie. They're basically gonna kill them.
Yeah,
and
like,
at first you're like, oh, they just want to scare them, and then it gets like really scary, and this is when like all bad stuff happens. Then it just gets
the scene
really, really bad.
I hate it so much.
It's funny. So I thought the rabbit was more scary throughout the film, but now I guess you're right. Like seeing her get run over, I was not prepared for that. It was very real.
Yeah, it just looked so real, and I was like, oh, I hate that. Oh
but you didn't see blood or gore. You just saw her afterwards, and yikes. And then Frank pops out, right?
Yes.
But he's a clown.
No, he's the bunny.
Oh, he's the bunny.
Yes.
And he pops out of the car.
He was the one driving.
Gretchen.
Yes.
And this is where Donnie's like, I've ruined life because I should have died with the jet engine, and now everyone's dead, and I have to fix the timeline.
So just to be clear.
Okay.
I just want to make stuff clear.
Okay.
Who's dead now? Jenna's dead.
Jenna's dead.
And Frank's dead. Because he shoots Frank in the eye, and then Frank dies.
Yeah, because Donnie doesn't F around.
So 2 people are dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the old lady's still alive.
Old lady's alive. I guess you could argue the plane then crashing is a bunch of people dead later.
Yes.
I just here's the thing. Here's my thing with this ending. I get the point that it's like a sacrifice.
Yes.
Blue, blue, blee, blue, Superman, blah, blee, blue, blue.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be honest, I don't love it because I feel like it just kind of comes off like. I don't know. Maybe it's because he's
uppity?
maybe it's because he's so emo that I'm like, he's like super okay with just dying and choosing to die. And also, if he dies, who's going to out Patrick Swayze as a pedophile? And does he get to keep being a pedophile now? Because I feel like he might. And I kind of hate that a lot. And now Drew Barrymore has to keep working at this fascist school? Are you kidding me? This is fucked up. Like, I don't like it.
Does his sister get into Harvard? I don't know.
I just don't love the ending.
I
get it. I get the ending, but I don't love it at all. I wish he didn't choose to go. I wish it like wasn't his choice. I think that would have made it better where just for magic reasons, he was like forced to be back in his room to then die. But because he chose it, I'm like...
And it was like the 28th day at this hour, at this time. He just gets back into his room as the sky opens up and the plane is about to crash, but the jettison falls, and then...
he goes through like a wormhole, I think, because he goes back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My head hurts.
I don't know.
Okay, let's just give it some credit. It is smart storytelling.
Yeah, I guess.
The morality of it is a whole other thing. And you could argue it's not a great message for some kids that might just be like, maybe I have to go back in time.
And it gives me the vibe, too, where it's like, see, if I just died, everyone's lives would be better without me. And I'm like, ooh, I don't love that. that because that's like suicidal thoughts. Like, I don't like that. That's how it comes off to me.
Yeah.
And he's emo. And I'm like, I don't like it.
I just wrote, I'm confused. We traveled back in time to kill himself. But he was excited?
Yeah.
So I think the good part about it is he wanted to make the world better. But the bad part is at his own expense.
But like, Patrick Swayze's still a closeted pedophile now.
Listeners, if you're still with us,
I'm just
we have wildly throbbing headaches. Do you? Stacey? So Stacey is my very intellectual friend, and I bet you she could just send me 3 text messages, and she's like, it's about this,
to
this,
explain
and this.
it.
You were all dumb. And maybe
dear.
we should have had her on to help us.
Well, Stacey, I want to give you a shout out because this is a movie that I would say kind of does align with Halloween season because there's a Halloween party in it. It's a
spooks.
costume. So there's some spooks, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
Woo! We did it! Donnie!
Oh, Donnie.
Donnie Darko, yeah.
All right, Bridge. It's my pick.
I'm
now
afraid.
this was heavy.
I felt like Ghostbusters. You gave me an easy spooks.
This was heavy. This was a headache for reasons. The tone, it was a dark lens.
It was Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko filter, if you will. So I am going in the opposite direction because, as Bridget knows, that I will not share publicly, I had a little bit of a tough week. So I need to giggle. We all need to giggle.
Giggling's the best.
We will be giggling. I actually don't know if you have seen this, and I'm curious if you've even heard of this.
Oh, God.
Because, alright, so it is from 1998. It is rated G.
Oh, God. Okay, is this a cartoon?
It's not a cartoon.
Alright.
It's with real people. The reason I wonder if you've seen it or not is because when we were growing up, we were not a family that had the Disney Channel.
Oh.
And this was a Disney Channel original movie. But it's since become, I don't know, more popular, I guess. I'm gonna read you the one sentence. When a young girl living with her secret witch mother learns she too is a witch, she must help her witch grandmother save the name of the movie from evil forces. Any idea?
I'm like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but that's a TV show.
No, oh my God, I wish that was a movie. No, Bridge, we're gonna watch Halloween Town, which is a movie that I don't think you've heard of.
No, I've never heard of.
It's about a Halloween town. And
no idea. Do they sing? It feels like people sing in this.
Definitely no singing.
Oh.
Horrible, cheesy costumes. You know, not great acting. I'm excited. It's a movie we're gonna laugh at, and that's just what I need now. You know,
I'm here for it.
One famous person who is in this, Debbie Reynolds, is the grandma. She's the witch grandma. I don't know. That's all I got for you. She was Carrie Fisher's mom. So
well, it's
that's
spooky
cool.
season, and Kate, you continue to amaze me with your randomness. Let's do it, baby.
Yes. Well, Bridge.
Wow.
Just want to say.
Wow.
What the fuck do I want to say? Bridge, if your daughter decided to join Sparkle Motion and she made it to, you know, a big dance competition and some crazy fucking lady came to you and was like, I'm going to doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion if you don't give up your life and fly to the state with this child. I would tell that lady to back the fuck off. I would throw a slander campaign against her for Board of Ed, and then I would go on the trip with her. So you could, I don't know, not be inconvenienced and possibly die in a plane crash. I don't know.
Wow.
That's for you. I love you.
Hey, you really always do this for me, don't you?
I do.
You do this for me.
It's for
with
you.
That LA trip.
Yep.
Kate.
Bridge.
I think, eventually, I'm going to take this in a different direction, okay? Because eventually when we make our own movie and, you know, we're just doing our own films and doing our own thing, eventually we obviously have to act in it, like Flower Films.
Oh, Lord.
And if we figure out what movie you are a character in your first major motion picture,
Okay.
I'm gonna force you to have to say the line, I like your boobs. but it's gonna be in a more polite, magical way, okay? But it is gonna be the same line as Seth Rogen, so I hope you're prepared for that. That will be in our contract.
I'm not prepared, and
that's
now
for you, though.
Now I'm trying to find a loophole of like, what could I say that to? That's gonna not be weird and
like a breast cancer survivor. No, sorry. Too dark. I love you.
No, I was thinking like a stuffed animal or something weird. But that's still in a weird place. So anyway, well, listeners, if you also appreciate Seth Rogen but are very confused about this very first on-screen line like us, and if you think that Sparkle Motion probably wouldn't like come out in first after watching a season of Dance Moms. Yeah.
It's a bunch of white kids.
I just don't think Abby Lee Miller would have approved. The Rontanges and whatever the fuck shit wasn't great.
Absurd.
And if you think that we should burn down every pedophile's home,
absolutely.
Can we make that a law? That'd be cool. You should write us a review.
Hey.
We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts, along with some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. On our website, you can request a movie. So there is a form you can fill out. Stacey made a request. She didn't fill out the form. But it's okay.
Well, yeah,
because you can do that. And we have one more week after next week of spoops. So if you got a movie in mind for the spoops, give us your spoopy doopies.
ASAP.
Hurry.
Okay? Jump on it.
Hurry. Yes. And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
They could buy us coffee, which is money. Woo. They can also buy merchandise, which is awesome.
Woo!
And nothing is emo or dark about it. It's giggles. It's great.
Yes. There's no emo-tastic things on there.
Agreed. That's it.
Yeah. So check all that out, listeners. And we hope to hear from you. All right. Well, we'll see you all next week for Halloween Town. Good news, Bridge. It's only, I don't know how it's movie length, but maybe because it was a TV movie, it's only an hour and 24 minutes, and it's on Disney+.
Okay.
We got this.
I still don't know how to get your username.
Oh my God.
We've talked about this so many times. But I can't tell you how many times I'm just singing in my head, like, this is Halloween, this is Halloween, Halloween, this is Halloween.
This has more like Party City Halloween vibes and less Tim Burton Halloween vibes.
I am not prepared for it, but I'll see you there, listeners. Thanks for sticking with us on this one. See you there. Bye-bye. I love you.
I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.